Immediately this man arose, took up his bed, and went into the presence of them all, so that all were amazed and glorified God, saying, "We never saw anything like this." The faith of your friends has the power to heal you. The faith of your prayers have the power to heal those around you. Prayer is a one-way ticket straight to God.
Yep.
It's the most powerful. It's definitely one of the most, if not the most powerful tool we have in our arsenal. Is prayer. Let's go to John 15. And we're gonna be in John 15, and let's just do verses 9 through 17. Love and joy perfected. As the Father loved me, I also have loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love. Just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abided in his love. These things I have spoken to you, that my joy may remain in you and that your joy may be full. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. If we aren't loving Christ-like, we aren't loving. If we aren't loving the way he loved us, it's not love in his eyes. So many things are called love in this world that are so distorted of what love is. We love as Christ have loved us. That is true love.
Yeah.
My joy may remain in you, and that my joy may be full. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. And this is where I want to start really hitting on. Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends. You are my friends if you do whatever I command you. And we know Christ laid his life down for us. So what greater love is it to lay our life down for our friends? And maybe that's the crucifixion of maybe that's the cross that you have to bear for your friends, the weight that you have to bear for your friends. If you're spiritually mature and they're not, sometimes you got to pick up that cross with them, and it's heavy. All my past and all the pain I've been through, sometimes this right here, this doing what God calls me to do, is the heaviest thing I've ever carried. The crucifixion of my own sins is heavy. And the closer you get to Christ, the heavier it becomes. It's heavy. No longer do I call you servants, for a servant does not know what his master is doing, but I have called you friends. And what a beautiful thing that is. And one of the most beautiful words in the Bible to me is beloved. I love that word. And you guys are my beloved friends. You guys, he's saying that you guys are not my servants. You guys are my friends. I know you and you know me. I have called you friends, for all things that I heard from my Father I made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit, that your fruit should remain, that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he may give you. And notice before this, he said, you must keep my commandments. If you love me, you will keep my commandments. If you truly love me, you will keep my commandments. Not saying that we won't fall, because we're going to fall. But if you love me, we search and we lean into what he says to do, which is righteousness and holiness and living as Christ has commanded us to live. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit. And that's amazing to me that he chose someone like me and someone like a lot of us in this room, if not everybody, that he chose us. And when we were lower than dirt, when we couldn't do it on our own, he chose us. We didn't choose him. We didn't run to him. He ran to us. He found us out of that flock, because we were the one that went astray. And the church is not supposed to be a place for the ones who believe the righteous. The church is supposed to be a place for those who are sick and know they're a sinner and they need Jesus Christ. That's what a church is supposed to be. He chose you, and that's a beautiful thing in my heart, to know that I was chosen over a flock of 99 people. He came and he found me. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful feeling. When I feel down, I just remember I'm chosen. I'm called by Christ. You should go and bear fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he may give you. These things I command you, that you love one another. Let's go to Proverbs 27. We're just going to start at verse 1. Why not? Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring forth. The older I get, the more I realize how important it is to love those who love us while we have them, because we never know what tomorrow is going to bring. Let another man praise you, and not your own mouth, a stranger and not your own lips. A stone is heavy and a sand is weighty, but a fool's wrath is heavier than both of them. Wrath is cruel, and anger and torrent, but who is able to stand before jealousy? These next two verses, I really wanted. I'm gonna probably read these twice, guys. Open rebuke is better than love carefully concealed. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. Back to verse 5. Open rebuke is better than love carefully concealed. If you have a friend who is telling you that you're wrong in a situation, and he's not beating around the bush for you, and he's saying that you need to change, he wants the best for you. If you have someone who's saying that you're better than this, and you can do better than this, I love you enough to tell you the truth. That's a friend. If I am doing something wrong, if you don't correct me, you don't love me. If you're letting me slide on everything that you know is wrong, how can you love me? It's not possible in my eyes. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. Faithful are the wounds of a friend who took those wounds for you without even knowing without you even knowing that they took those wounds for you. They did it in private. They love you enough to just do it. Faithful are the wounds. But the kisses of an enemy are deceitful, and that's why it's so important to know your Peter and your Judas. See, Peter had a couple bad days. Judas had a bad heart. They both were a disciple of Christ. One betrayed him, one denied him. One died in his sins, one became an apostle who started what we call the church today. Know the difference between your Judases and your Peters. A satisfied soul loathes the honeycomb, but to a hungry soul every bitter thing is sweet. To a hungry soul, every bitter thing is sweet. Mm-hmm. Satisfied soul loathes the honeycomb, but to a hungry soul, every bitter thing is sweet. You need to find Christ before you start. You need to find Christ so you can know what love is. You need to find Christ so you can love correctly, because without it, it's impossible. Without it, it's impossible. Someone who starves for attention, and we see it so much on social media. They dip their hand in their tongue and everything because their soul isn't satisfied. They're not a satisfied person. They're not a whole person. Like a bird that wanders from its nest is a man who wanders from his place. Anointment and perfume delight the heart, and the sweetness of a man's friend gives delight by hearty counsel. Do not forsake your own friend or your father's friend.